today I want to talk about my top 5 RPGs that you guys should be playing. Now, if you guys are new to my channel, what I do is I explain video games and I talk about the games that you should be playing. If that sounds like fun to you, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you never miss a beat. Alright, and the first one, number 5, Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne. Now, I put this one at number 5 for the simple fact that if you are new to RPGs, this one's going to be really hard for you because some of the bosses are ridiculously stupid and you have to do quite a bit of grinding, like a lot for some of them. Now, when I first picked this game up, I didn't know exactly what I was getting myself into, but from a story-wise, it's pretty cool. It starts off as most of your RPGs, you kind of prevent the end of the world. Well, in this game, right off the bat, the world ends. Demons take it over, and it's your job to, once you find out later on in the story, that you have to kind of pick and choose a faction that, on how they want the world to be shaped. And what's really cool about this is that they ended up teaming up with Capcom, and they put Dante from Devil May Cry in the game, and you're able to face him as one of the bosses. A little bit of a spoiler alert. And then you also can later on recruit him as a party member, which is pretty cool. You got your, if you've ever played a Shin Megami Tensei game, you got your simple things that you normally get, like the cathedral where you can fuse demons together to create new ones. And then of course, you got there's like this weird little ball that's up at the top that goes from like 1 to 8, and if it's on like certain phases will depend on if you're able to get certain demons to join your party, which you have to either which I thought was pretty cool how they did that. You literally have to kind of bribe them with items, monies, and answering different kinds of questions, which is kind of weird, but I mean, if you don't answer them right, they'll either just give you an item or just run away. Excuse my language, I almost said a bad word. But I love the art style in the game. It's really dark, gritty, because of course the world is ended already. Of course, all these demons kind of just showed up and said, hey, this is going to be our new home, which is kind of weird, but it's still pretty cool. Alrighty, I don't want to take too long in each one of these. So my number 4, the first Final Fantasy I ever played, and that would be Final Fantasy IX. Now, this game, you start off doing a play trying to kidnap Garnet right here, which later on she'll rename herself as Dagger, which I thought was kind of cheesy, but she ends up wanting to be kidnapped because her mom is basically corrupted in a way. But anyways, the story is great in it. All the characters are lovable. My favorite so far has to be Zidane, just because he's an up-and-coming hero in a way, but he always thinks of everyone else before himself in a way. Which, that's what I also liked about this game, is that each of the characters has like a major growth point in the game, which is phenomenal. And the art style was great. Loved it. And I loved how they brought back kind of like the traditional era of Final Fantasy, because they went back to the 4-party, four team member party, because normally in most of them you only get 3 characters to battle with, but the older games you got 4. So they returned back to the 4, and they kind of made it more of like a medieval settings with the castles and the Renaissance type deal on how the world was built, which I thought was pretty cool, because you get like an airship that's like a hot air balloon with propellers later on, which is cool. Love the CGI in this game. The summons are pretty cool. The only gripe that I would have to say about this, just because it was just the only thing that I really didn't care for, is that the trance system, I wish you could have actually saved it from battle to battle, but it just kind of happens as it goes, and the battle system is a little bit slow, just because it just seems like it takes forever. But apart from those 2 things, I highly recommend this game. It is a phenomenal game. And that would be my number 4. My number 3 is one of my favorite murder mystery games. That's an RPG. If you don't know what that is by now, it is Shin Megami Tensei Persona 4. Now, in this game, you end up, you're a silent protagonist. You end up going to a small, quiet town of Inaba. I don't remember exactly why. It's been a minute since I picked this up because I can't really actually play this one right now because I have to resurface it. And my Vita is out of commission, so I can't play the golden version, which if you do have a Vita, I highly recommend you pick up the golden version, just for the simple fact that it's got all the extra bells and whistles, and it's a great game. But, anyway, so you end up going to this quiet town of Inaba, and of course you have to go to school, and you're with your uncle and his daughter, and his daughter seems to be more mature than, like, she's supposed to be. She looks like she's about 10, but she acts like she's 16, trying to take care of her dad and all that. It's pretty cool. But, so during the day, you're doing a life sim because you go to school, you can take on jobs, earn money, this, that, and the other, hang out with different party members, and work on your social links, and your social links therefore help you in battle, and they also help you with the creations of different personas, which are basically the demons that they use in most of the Shin Megami Tensei games. And then, right off the bat, there starts to be a stream of different murders and people getting thrown in the TVs. And the TV, you find out later, a little bit on into the story, that there's another world with demons, and then there's also this teddy bear named Teddy that you find out later this just kind of resides there, and they call the demons in that world shadows, and it's pretty cool. But I love how each one of the areas that you go to were different. Like the first one you go to, I'm not going to ruin too many of them, just the first one, just because you're able to go to like the story area, and you and one other party member meet up with himself as a shadow, and then of course he basically says that's not him, and the shadow basically is able to manifest into its own being, and you have to fight it, and then he gets his own personas, and right before then you get yours, which is a great cinematic scene. And then after that you go to a castle area, which I'm not going to tell you whose area that is, because each party member you get is a different area, and it also ties in with the story and whatnot. It's pretty cool. I haven't finished yet, but I've gotten really far into it because, of course, every single time I get close to beating the game, something happens, whether my disc gets ruined or I can't play my Vita. So, if you don't own it, I highly suggest that you pick it up. Now, my number 2 is kind of a double bonus, just because both the games are somewhat in the same universe, but I love them anyways. And that would be Digimon Story, Cyber Sleuth, and Hackers of Memory. Now, these games kind of pull a little bit more of the nostalgia factor on me because I grew up watching Digimon, and I love them. So, when I heard that, I mean, there's some older games, like I do have Digimon World, and there's a few other ones that I have played, I think, of the Digimon World and some of on the DS, but when I found out that there was going to be an RPG revolving around Digimon, I had to get it. I really did, because these games are fantastic. I have Cyber Sleuth for the Vita, which I can't play at the moment because, of course, like I said, my Vita is kind of kaput at the moment. But I put over 60 hours into it, and I loved it. I honestly do. It's a great game. So if you don't own it, I highly suggest that you pick it up. But in this game, in the first one anyways, I haven't played much of the second one, so I don't really know much of the story apart from that your account gets hacked and you're trying to figure out who exactly took it. But in the first one, you end up going into this cyber area, meeting up with your friends, well then this eater, which is kind of like a weird data creature that can corrupt data. And when you're trying to log out, he touches you. Well, it touches you. It's not really he or she. It's just a weird blob of tentacles. But it touches you, and you come out of Eden. Eden, that's what it's called, is the cyberspace you're in. But when you come out of Eden, your body becomes comatose, which you find out a little bit later on. And you manifest in the middle of the street as a, like, bunch of data. And then you're able to later on kind of reconfigure yourself up to where you're actually able to have like somewhat of a physical form, or at least it looks like it, so that you can interact with people and this, that, and the other, and you end up going to this detective agency, which that's where you kind of do the bulk of your game, and you're able to go to a board, take on different missions, and with this cybernetic body, you're able to go into anything electronic, whether it be like an air conditioner, a monitor, a TV, uh, anything electrical. And of course, since it's in a actual place, because I believe you can actually go to I'm gonna butcher this so bad. Akihabara or something. If you've played the game, you'll know exactly where. But it's an actual place in Japan. But I'm terrible at pronouncing it. But they're great games, at least in my opinion. You go around finding different digital distortions and solving different mysteries, whether they be just finding a lost Digimon or figuring out why the air conditioning, or there's like paranormal spoofs that you do, which is there's one in particular that there's like a ghost girl with a bunch of classmates. Well, it's not really classmates; they're just school students. But it's cheesy, but it's fun. And then on to my favorite RPG. I own this for the PlayStation 3, and I recently got it for the Switch, and that would be Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch. Now, this game has some of the best artwork that I have seen in a game to date. Just for the simple fact that it is made by Level 5 and my favorite anime studio, and that is Studio Ghibli. Granted, after you get past the beginning part, you kind of see less to no animation, like actual like anime in the game. But the beginning, you get quite a bit, and it looks phenomenal. Like when you started this game, you really think you're actually watching like a movie. It's that good. But you start off as a kid named Oliver, and something happens to his mom, and you end up meeting Drippy, which is a High Lord of the Fairies, is how he puts it. But he takes you to this other world to try to save your mom, and also to try to save the world from a dark evil. Well, you end up, which I will hopefully doing a full review on this one, just because it's my favorite game. It's one of my favorite games of all time. But I'll be getting a review for you guys and letting you know more of my thoughts on this game. But I'll give you a couple right now, just for the sake of the video. But you end up going and trying to save this other world, meeting up with a bunch of different characters, and you go to a bunch of different places. You're able to fly later on, use a boat later on, but hopefully I'll get some gameplay of that and show you, because the game's great. It really honestly is. If you haven't picked it up, and I really don't want to spoil too much of the story, because I'll have a lot more to say in my actual review, but if you don't own it, and you own a Switch, or you even own a PlayStation 3, go pick this game up. I'm telling you, you won't regret it. It is phenomenal. If you love anime and you love RPGs, you will love this game. It's that good. But that would be my top 5. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your guys' top 5 down in the comments below. And you guys have a great Christmas.